You know, I was at CPAC this weekend, and several people actually came up to me and said, we want the straight scoop on Bill O'Reilly. And I said, I can't tell you, please help me. I'm being held hostage by him. I actually told them what I really believe, that Bill O'Reilly is one of the only guys in mainstream media that treated me decently, helped me out a great deal, taught me an awful lot, and is one of the only real thinkers in mainstream media when he was in mainstream media, and will call it like he sees it. And I'm proud to call Bill O'Reilly a friend of mine. And Bill O'Reilly is joining us now from BillO'Reilly.com. Hello, Bill. I didn't mean anything I just said.
Well, I feel like father knows best, and you're a bud, okay? But I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
You were worth cultivating, Beck. You know.
Yeah, sure.
You're a very interesting guy.
Now I'd like to return the favor and say, wear a tie. Wear a tie.
Why?
Just on our
I'm a
program.
socialist.
You were like
power to the people, right on.
When we did the
power to the people, Beck.
When we did the State of the Union, I think you were in your jammies. Can you just wear a tie from time to time?
This shirt costs more than your car. All right, so come on, get on.
You don't know what I drive. But, Bill, tell me what you think about what's happening tonight.
Okay. Elizabeth Warren, big loser, she's gone. Nasty woman, not going to be sad to see her go.
Right. Okay.
Second big loser, Mayor Bloomberg.
Yeah.
All right. Bloomberg got destroyed by Warren, ironically. All right. So the biggest loser destroyed the second loser. So Bloomberg, I understand, has stopped his buys except in Florida, and he can pull those ads anytime he wants. So he's going to make some kind of deal with Biden.
This is the second mayor of New York City that has tried this strategy. It didn't work with Giuliani, and it didn't work with him. Giuliani, I think, is a likable guy, at least especially back then for most of the country. Now everybody hates him because he was for Trump, but he was a likable guy. He was America's mayor. It didn't work. Bloomberg is just he's more unlikable than you.
Thank you, Beck. I appreciate that. At least I've risen now one slot. Listen, Mayor Mike showed weakness. It's not about being unlikable, all right? It's about leadership. So when Warren went after him and started to smear him, all the mayor had to do was look and say, Senator, you've got some nerve accusing me of anything when your whole academic career was built on a fraud, that you are you are a Native American, okay? All he had to do was that, and that would have shut her up, but she destroyed him. But as we stand here on Super Tuesday night, Mayor Mike has got nowhere to go. Now, he did carry American Samoa.
Right.
I believe he bought it.
Right.
I believe he bought it.
He may have.
But I'm not sure. But he's got nowhere to go. So he'll make a deal with Biden. You wait and see. And Mayor Mike will endorse Biden in return for maybe Secretary of the Treasury, ambassador to the Court of St. James in London, something. That's how this goes. Buttigieg made a deal with Biden. Klobuchar made a deal with him. And there was nobody to deal with Bernie because Bernie doesn't like Warren.
Right.
Nobody likes Warren.
Right.
So Warren's gone. Mayor Mike is gone for all intents and purposes. It now comes down to Bernie versus Say It Ain't So Joe.
Okay.
And Joe has got the fix in. Joe has got the fix in.
All right, so let me take it there. He's got the fix in. I agree with you. The Democrats, Obama was working the phones for Joe Biden to try to bring everybody in.
Yep.
And not as much for Joe Biden, I think, as anti-Sanders, which is a very weird thing to be saying, knowing what we know about Barack Obama and you know, his philosophies on America. But he's not a violent revolutionary. He's a progressive that happens to like Marx. And that's very different than Bernie Sanders. So the fix is in, but we have two problems. Bernie Sanders has a violent crowd, and they are not going to take this sitting down. This is the second time they'll feel that the Democrats screwed them out of this. The other issue is that Joe Biden is, and I say this without any happiness, but Joe Biden is seriously having issues, senior moments. He's not the guy he was in 2016. So how does this play out?
Okay, very good questions, and I will answer them with detail.
Okay.
So, the populist movement that Sanders hoped would occur has not. He doesn't have enough Bernie bros. He doesn't have enough millennials. He has no African Americans, and he has some of the Hispanics. But the coalition is not big enough to get him the delegates he needs to be the nominee. Need 1,991. It's not going to get him. Okay. They go into Milwaukee in July. The police are going to be anticipating the Bernie bros will cause trouble, and they will be in Green Bay. That's where they will be. That's how far away from the convention center. So I'm not anticipating anything there. What Bernie has to pray for, well, he's an atheist, so he won't pray, but hope for.
Pray to Fidel. He was great.
Is that Joe Biden self-destructs. So Bernie's going to stay in. He'll accumulate delegates, but he won't be enough. And Biden's close now. Biden will be right close to him. But you're correct. Joe Biden cannot speak. His thought process can't find its way to his mouth. And we know commentators and radio talk show guys like that all the time. But running for president is different.
Well, but I think there's a difference. Bill, wait. Joe Biden has always had a problem putting his foot in his mouth. He's always had that. But I felt bad for him during the last debate because he reminded me of my grandfather when we had to tell him he can't drive anymore. And the more he protested and tried to show that he was competent, it just, to the family, we all stood around and went, I mean, he's proving that he's not competent. And that was exactly the feeling. And I've heard this from several people. So are you saying that he's just continuing on the foot in the mouth disease that he's always had? Or do you recognize that there has been a change in him in the last 3-4 years?
I am not willing to define whatever his problem is. It's not fair for me to do it. I'm not qualified to do it. I will tell you that yesterday he could not quote the
Declaration
of Independence. All right? He didn't know whether it was Super Tuesday or Super Thursday.
That's true.
In the last debate, he said 150 million Americans were killed by gunfire in the last 7 years.
And you know what?
You make up your own determination.
You can say that 150 million, he meant 150,000 or whatever, but then he doubled down and said that's more than all the wars, World War I, World War II. So he was thinking it through. He just couldn't realize that was not anywhere close.
What really was instructive was the 5 CBS moderators went, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's okay. So Biden's got a problem, right? Everybody knows he's got a problem. How big a problem will it become? That's what Bernie Sanders is hoping it overwhelms Biden. So by the time July rolls around, Biden can't run because he's befuddled to the extent that it's an embarrassment.
Who does he pick?
And by the way, tomorrow you're going to see the corporate media, which is 90% of it. This is Disney, ABC, Comcast, NBC, AT&T, CNN. They're going to all throw in with Biden tomorrow. And here's what you're going to hear. What a resurgence. How did he do it? Oh, Joe, the comeback kid. All of this is going to happen because the corporations don't want Sanders. All right, Amazon, which owns the Washington Post, they don't want Sanders. Sanders is going to take Bezos's $160 million house. All right? Come on, he just bought it. So you're going to see the corporate media, which now controls the flow of national information in this country, start to basically get behind Biden. So that's a big advantage for Biden. So they're going to keep Biden away. I don't think Biden and Bernie are going to do one-on-ones. I'd be surprised if that happens.
Who do you
Go
think?
ahead.
Who do you think that Biden would pick as a vice president? Because a vote for Biden will be a vote for his vice president as president, I think.
Okay. Well, 78 years old, you got to have a vibrant vice president.
Right.
I think he goes for an African-American woman.
Please
So
don't
then
say from
you got
Georgia. Don't say from Georgia. Please don't say.
I have to consider her. But he needs an African-American in a state that he's got to win. So there are a lot of African-American women who are qualified. I think he's going to go that route to solidify his African-American support, and that is acceptable to the progressive left. Might peel off a few Bernie bros with that.
I heard today, I read someplace that Trump is going to go with Nikki Haley and pass on Pence. I don't believe it because Trump is loyal above all things. Do you think that's even a possibility?
I can tell you with certainty that has not been discussed at all.
Okay. All right. Bill, what is your prediction going into the convention? I know you don't do predictions, but humor me. I did a prediction. I said 6 months ago that Biden would be the nominee. I'm going to stay to that. Even when he had all his trouble, I didn't throw him under the bus. I was as amazed as everybody else at his inefficiency in the campaign. I don't expect that will improve. I think he's going to be befuddled to the end. But the corporate masters within the party, Podesta, Rahm Emanuel, Terry McAuliffe, all of these people, they obviously want Biden because Biden will do as he is told. Biden will do as he is told by the Democratic machine. They want him. They don't want Bernie. So that's big. And then when the corporate media falls into line behind Biden, which they absolutely will, all right, that's a formidable alliance. And Donald Trump better take it seriously. I know Donald Trump wants Bernie Sanders to be the guy he runs against.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the one that is easier to beat?
Oh, no doubt Bernie. My analysis says that Bernie Sanders could only win 15 states, and that's if everything goes right for him. All right?
Does this, by him not getting
if you do the math,
does this get the nomination? If he loses the nomination and he's not the candidate, does this make him and his socialist ideas and his socialist track of the party stronger as it did with, Barry Goldwater and Buckley losing in New York? It created the Reagan era, really. Do we see a stronger socialist movement and a weaker Democratic Party?
No, I think it hurts the far left. If Bernie gets wiped out, it hurts them.
And if he doesn't,
one else,
if he doesn't get the nomination, and it
hurts them.
It hurts the Sanders people.
Yeah, the socialists. He'll never again be a socialist candidate if Bernie Sanders doesn't make it. Because Warren got wiped out. You're not going to have 4 years from now another socialist come up.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. So this is it for the socialists. All right. And if Bernie doesn't get it, I predict 10 to 15% of the hardcore bros won't vote. That's not that many people.
Okay.
So Biden could still win, but it'll hurt.